Oh, look at that. It worked just perfectly. Hello there. My name is Anthony Barocas. I am here today. Oh, that's actually the wrong caption. So we're going to take that off. Hide. Hide. Go again. Hide. And we're here for the BirdDog live session. And if you are a familiar viewer of this series, you know that we have a very special giveaway every single show. And today that giveaway actually changes because BirdDog has made it so that BirdDog Connect is now BirdDog Central. Is that right? Yeah, BirdDog Central and Pro is now the level that will give you a year-long subscription to this cloud and local suite of tools. But it's also available with a free tier that you can sign up for right now. You can use it locally. It used to be with a watermark, but now you can use it watermark free. So I urge you to go and check this out. If you haven't already, there was a series of shows that we did live with Dan, who showed us, it is right here, Connect More with Dan. He talked about the BirdDog Connect. And then over here, where we introduced the whole Connect tool. So there's two shows. Show 11 and show 14 both talk about BirdDog Connect and this suite of tools. We kind of started to really dive into it. It is worthy of probably another show or two, how deep these tools really are. And with the series now, you can get it for free. It's limited in functionality. You don't get to bring in 20 sources, of course, in the free version, but it is no longer watermarked. You get to try it out. And so you can go to bit.ly, BD entry, use a capital B and a capital D, BirdDog entry, so that you can sign up and win the full suite, completely unlimited, for an entire year. If you have a cell phone, you can use the little QR code right there and scan that in, and that will get you set up. Every single show we give something away. Now it's going to be BirdDog Central Pro 2.0. It's the completely unlocked version. It's not the same thing every live stream. This is actually, well, this live stream, it's going to be this. Next live stream, it's actually going to be something different. We're going to alternate. We've got a new product that we're going to start making available. So if you have already won this, and we've had several winners because we give this away. We have been giving this away every live stream, but that will change with the next live stream. Sorry, unable to open the file at this time? Uh-oh. Let me double check that. I'm going to scan my own QR code. I'm going to try to scan my own QR code. Boop, 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 boop. Let's try that again. Go ahead. Wants me to unlock my phone. Nope. I got the BirdDog entry form right there. So if you haven't already, scan the QR code and use a capital B and D if typing it in does not work. And wherever you might be, please be aware that this is a live show. We are going to have a guest today telling us all about the new features for the X4E, or actually the lack of features, but what makes it more appealing to a lot of people who need an installation camera. So feel free to write in, what BirdDog questions do you have? This is a live show. Feel free to throw them in. It doesn't have to be limited to this, to the topic today. It doesn't have to be limited to the camera. You can ask about all kinds of BirdDog products. Feel free to throw them in the comments today. We've got live comments coming in from Facebook and YouTube. And also, I'd love to know where people are watching from today. We already have Randy chiming in from Canada. Cheerios to you. And Andrea saying hello from Greece. And we have Controlled Chaos from Adelaide. Clean to hear how the X4E matches with the existing X4U. Great question. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And feel free to chime in where you're watching from. Let's get into the news today. In the news, X4E, you asked, and BirdDog delivers. Christian, tell me,
Yeah,
this is this something that people have been asking about that drove this modification of the X4, or like where did this come from?
yeah, quite a lot. We found that people were getting the X4 Ultra or asking about it and be like, I really love this camera, but I don't need the Wi-Fi and I don't need the battery. Like over and over and over again. And it's proven to be our most popular camera and our hardest one to keep in stock. And through conversations that we've had and it's going into a lot of permanent installs. And in a lot of those environments, they're not using any Wi-Fi and they're not using any battery. So it was a perfect opportunity for us to look through and be like, okay, well, can we make this camera without Wi-Fi and without a battery? And
And
the
it and
X4E Ultra is exactly that.
so Controlled Chaos, their question, how the X4E matches with the existing X4U. So you're saying basically it's the exact same camera.
It's the exact same camera, just without Wi-Fi and without the battery. It's the same sensor, it's the same feature set, and the same performance. It's the same body. It's the same size platform. It'll use the same accessories. Um, so it's functionally the same camera, $200 less, no Wi-Fi, no battery.
Will the Wi-Fi and battery cameras still be available? So if somebody does want something portable, that's going to be a choice. And if it's
Absolutely.
going to be an install, that's available as a choice.
Yep. We'll have the two SKUs individually, and they fit two really good use cases on their own.
Excellent, excellent. And I think, people who, already appreciated the camera and what still, I'm thinking people who might use it in an installation might say, man, I wish this camera was available wireless. And, it'd be funny that the wireless was the one that came first.
Yeah. It is interesting. I see situations where folks might get two X4Es and then one original X4 Ultra, where they can have two wired and then one kind of joker that they're able to move around wirelessly through the environment, and that way it gives you you know reliability with your wired ones, and then also with your wireless camera, your flexibility option, and then you have no doubt in being able to match your cameras from a color perspective and a performance perspective because they're the same cameras.
Right, right. And I like that idea of having one that you can move around and change up. It's sort of like, oh, well, this is going to be happening over here this week. Let's move that camera over here. Whereas you've got your installed cameras that always stay put, but you've got you got the best of both worlds.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think, yes, that's you.
That is me.
And I skipped ahead. So the X4E is the X4 and the exact same Sony sensor. And I think that also speaks to the rest of the BirdDog line. The entire X series is, capable of some new color capability. The depth of the control with these new cameras is something that the original series didn't quite have.
Yeah, I think we built a really solid reputation on with our P series with the color that we were able to do, and then I think we took that and then kind of leaned into it and did it a little bit more advanced with this next series. And as you go up through from the X1s to the X4 and then on to O4 and XL, you'll find that there is more customization and fine tuning that you can do with the color and with the image as you take those steps up the camera line.
And also with regards to the software, so that if someone has a bunch of these X4s, the E's and the Ultras, they can copy the color space that they've applied, the look of one camera, and with the BirdDog software, just paste it down the line to make sure that all those cameras really do just dial in very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, we can do that. And then we'll be actually having an update pretty soon for our cam control software that'll support all of the X series. And if I remember correctly, we have a link to a beta download of the new version of it on our Facebook user group. So that is available. So if you want to try out the new version of Cam Control to be able to have four of the cameras side by side to color match in real time, you can find that in our user group on Facebook.
Yes, and if somebody hasn't already tried that, I don't have a demo of it here. I would love to throw that up right now. But the ability to have four of the cameras on the same screen, as opposed to like one over here on this screen and one over there on that screen, and one screen is OLED and the other one is LCD, it's going to be really hard to color match. So the ability of the software to have all four of them, just right there on the same screen, it makes it like more accurate in terms of comparing the color space and how each one looks.
Yeah, I wish I had pulled it too. I'm on my Mac today, unfortunately, but because Cam Control is just Windows based right now. I think I see Randy asking about if it's available in Linux. Potentially, I don't want to commit to anything, but right now we just have it available as a Windows option.
And I'm actually trying to go over here, Cam Control. Boop, 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 boop. And let me come down here, and I'm going to have you go off for a second just so I can show it. And this is the Cam Control, and you can kind of see the multiple windows on the same screen. And this is what we're talking about, being able to dial in your settings on this camera and then copy and paste, and quickly get all your cameras dialed in a certain way for whatever environment that you might be in. And I think that really does make it easier for any deployment to make sure, like, oh, well, we've got all this sunlight flooding in. We need to color correct for that. Oh, I was reading in one forum the other day that they have a church with all of these stained glass windows and the sun comes in and they need to adjust for that. So being able to like get that adjustment, at least for like, the primary camera, and then copy and paste that across the board makes it easy to just really make sure that all those cameras have a good, solid, similar look and feel. Let's see.
And then actually, while I'm thinking about it, Anthony, we can do this using the KBD controller to be able to copy settings with the X series. So if you have a KBD controller and you hold down Shift and then you press a cam button that has the particular setting saved that you like, and then press a second one, it'll copy the settings from one camera to another. So you'll actually see a little prompt that comes up on the screen that says copying settings, and it'll copy all of the image settings over from one of our X series cameras to another.
Yes. UNTV asks, if you remove the antennas and turn off the Wi-Fi, well, I guess the whole Wi-Fi board is gone. Will it do any damage to the functionality? Only if you needed Wi-Fi, I think.
It won't do any batteries damage. So there's a little yellow sticker on the back of the X4, I believe, that says don't, like, basically to not operate it without the antennas connected. And that's essentially a certification thing where, making sure the I's are dots and the T's are crossed as far as the signal certification and everything. So
Oh, I
it'll
see what you're
work. If
saying.
you don't have the antennas connected, like, it works just fine. I've done that. So there's no harm in, having those disconnected and just saying Wi-Fi off. It won't affect anything other than the Wi-Fi.
I see. I mistook it as taking out the X4E, not having the
Oh,
Wi-Fi. No, yeah, and that's really good advice. Just making sure that the transmitter is not trying to push signal to where there's no antenna.
yeah. If you're trying to connect to Wi-Fi with the X4 Ultra and you don't have the antennas connected, it's not going to be great because it doesn't really have the strength without the antennas to pull something in.
And Control Chaos asks, how much weight is saved removing the battery and Wi-Fi?
Not as
Flying.
much as you think. So if you pick up the two, the X4E doesn't feel hollow or empty or anything by any comparison. It still has some heft to it. Uh, it's a marginal amount of weight. I don't remember off the top of my head and how many kilograms it is, but um, it's a little bit. It's not a significant amount.
Right, because the lithium ion cells are very light,
Yeah.
and the majority of the weight is going to be the motors, the lens, the glass, and everything. So
Yep.
it was funny. It's like I got a replacement lithium ion battery for my UPS, and I held the battery. I was like, oh my God, this is, there's nothing to this compared to
It's
the
like
lead
magic.
acid battery.
Yeah.
So and not having that is sort of like, okay, it's a little lighter, but it's like you said, it's probably not going to be like, oh, the camera's so light now. Randy says, my video guys love cam control. They rely on it every week, but we need it on Linux. Well,
No
you
taken.
can run Windows apps in Linux. I think you need Wine, is it, right?
I
I I wonder if that's what your video guys are using and you're just looking for a native version. So just remember, everyone, if you have questions with regards to BirdDog gear, feel free to throw them into the questions. This is a live forum. If you're here live, there's two great reasons to be here live. One of them is the fact that you've got people right here that you can ask questions. And the second one is the fact that I'm trying to wield my mouse there now. Oh, I hope I hit the right one. That you can scan and win right here at bit.ly/BD entry, or use your phone and scan the QR code, and you can enter to win the contest to get BirdDog Central Pro. Now, we can talk about this a little bit in that
yeah. And it would
Connect.
be forever. It's not even because Central isn't a, subscription based or anything. So it's a single time purchase. So you'll have it to use, indefinitely.
Right. So just to make sure, this is Connect, though, right?
Central? No, it's a
Central's
standalone
different.
program.
Okay.
So there's similar. So the way you can do routing and such like this and media generation within our Connect platform. But if aren't using, multiple different endpoints or, in remote locations or, don't want to commit to subscribing to something, if you just need to route sources, across your building, Central is a great option where you can, have all of your endpoints or your sources and destinations, and even do media generation, and route it all point to point.
Right. Okay. I'm looking. Pro is a $300 license. So this is BirdDog Central Pro is a $300 value that you can get entering these forms. And the Lite, which is now watermark free, I believe you were saying.
So the light version of Central Pro is always free, but it limits you to two destinations, I believe, and will only allow you like one piece of media to generate. And it doesn't give you like retransmittability or source groups to be
Okay.
able to group your sources.
So fully functioning without watermark, but with certain limitations.
Yeah. The
And
watermark difference, I think what that came up was when we were chatting about the change to BirdDog Connect, because we had some pricing changes with BirdDog Connect, where we had a free version of BirdDog Connect where you could connect, uh, could have one connection, and it was watermarked. But we updated this week to make all of Connect free, fully featured, no watermark for up to two connections. So there's no watermark on that. So the only thing that we have as BirdDog that would be watermarked in any capacity would be our Android TV app, uh, unpurchased, which
right,
is kind of like if you had NDI Studio Monitor native on a TV, but it's BirdDog. So you can
right,
see all
right.
your sources there. So if you
And
have the
then
free version of that, that would be watermarked, but that's the only thing that. we'll do watermark now.
So I see I have 8 entries already for this. And so you have a 1 in 8 chance of winning Central Pro 2.0 if you go to bit.ly BirdDog entry or scan the code. Actually, I'm not on the code side. That's up to you to do the pointing. And you can use the QR code. There he goes. You can use your phone, scan the QR code. I did it already. It's working. It's going through. Fill out the form, name, email, put in your email again, just in case there was a typo. Answer a few questions. Tell us what product you love. Tell us what product you'd love to see. That's always interesting. And you too could be entered to win. And we'll be giving it away during this show. So if you watch this show tomorrow, you missed out. You got to tune in during the live show. So let's go back to the slides here. Oh, this one didn't update. So let's go down to, I believe, 5. And the advantage, removing the Wi-Fi and the battery, it's a lower power draw. I think a lot of people don't think of that, in that when the battery is connected to AC, it's charging. It's always checking the battery and charging the battery. If you take the battery circuitry out, then only when the camera, it's only powering the camera. It's not powering the camera and this battery charging thing at the same time. And if you've ever charged your phone and felt it warm up, if you've ever charged any other video camera batteries and everything, they get warm. And
Yeah,
so you're
and
actually
inherently
creating
there's
less
a little
heat.
fan too. Like there's like a cooling, like when the X4 Ultra is charging, it's a little bit louder.
So that is something to consider, in that, you know, you're lowering the total power draw. So hey, if somebody has a portable setup, now all of a sudden the power draw is a little bit lower, and you know, whatever math you did for your UPS is actually going to change a little bit.
Hmm.
But
Unless
again,
you're just running PoE and then everything stays the same.
right now, everything else, all the other connectivity, the SDI, the HDMI, the USB-C, NDI, and streaming directly out of the camera, all of that, all the brains stuff remain exactly the same.
Exact same functionality. It looks exactly the same in the UI. Uniform experience.
And of course, we get the halo tally on the front, which, you know, having tried out the new Mach-E camera, this is actually, I have to actually say, you know what I found out is when you put it really close, the halo light actually illuminates the subject. when it's white. When it's red,
Yeah.
you don't actually want that. But it's really cool because even from behind, you can see, you know, what camera is active, because it goes all the way around, as opposed to just like being a dot on the front.
Yeah. You try to make it visible. And what's really fun is even at like trade shows, it's a conversation piece. So even when it's just white, we'll have the cameras on, and you know, probably every third interaction, somebody points to the light and be like, "What is that for?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just a tally light. You know, we think it looks cool. Yeah, you can keep it on, you can turn it off, you can use it as a regular, you know, red and green preview and program tally, or
And I
shut it off."
believe one of the cameras, is it the new cinema camera, has RGB?
So it's actually that Mach-E Live that you have that you just showed off. That has an RGB tally that you can select the tally color.
I'm gonna have to play with
Or
that.
you can actually do a RGB color cycle where it'll just cycle through that spectrum. And then XL does have a RGB, and then you can do a cycle on that as well. And coming soon to the X1s will be a RGB color choice as well, where I believe we'll have 6 or 7 colors that'll be available, in addition to the red, green, and white to choose from. So coming soon to a firmware update near you.
And, you know, people may say, well, that's just, you know, all well and good and funny and everything. But I have to say, when you have 4 identical cameras, and I might label them on top with a label or on the back or whatever, but the people in front of the cameras look at 2. Well, which one's 2?
Yeah.
It's different than look at the orange one, look at the green one, look at the blue one. You know, that makes it really easy, you know, to have people, and then red is the one that's on. But when you're setting up and you don't have any cameras live to program yet, you can actually, use those colors as differentiators to the people in front of the cameras. And that's really cool because you have to think, if you have, white, 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 green,
Yeah.
3 whites don't tell me which one is number 2. So
I'll just look
having
in the
that,
middle of them.
yeah, look in the average. So
Yeah.
it is actually kind of handy if you leverage it in a certain way for like podcasters, for people who are not familiar with working in front of cameras, to be able to tell them a specific color is the one that they should be looking at. Let's see, we had a couple new questions come in.
Awesome.
Freddie says, can you fix the zoom and focus speed in the Maki Studio app?
Yeah, we should be able to. Yeah, I don't oversee the Maki Studio app, but that's CJ, our other product manager. But yeah, definitely. I'll take this and then I'll have some conversations in the back and see what's going on and see if we can't get an update out there to boost some performance.
Yeah, and Freddie was actually in my show earlier today where we actually walked through the studio, and that was one of the things that we did find was that it is very responsive. Sometimes that's a little bit too responsive, especially when I just need to just move it in a little bit,
Yeah.
kind of creep it in. And those things you can do if you had a keyboard or KBD. But given that the app has those controls built in, it makes it really cool. We had a question about the RGB tally. Could the RGB tally be used with a speaker timer to let talent know they have 2 minutes and 30 seconds? Okay, that's a good question. Is there an API for it? That's a really good idea.
There should be. I don't think we have an API for it yet, but we could definitely make one.
I think that's a really good use
Very
case.
possible. Yeah.
And that's the magic of having a live show, is that we can go in here and say, and get these ideas and like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
through software that makes it like, it's green, then it's yellow, then it's red, or they all go red. That would be, I like that. I like that idea a lot. It helps to control the chaos. If you see what I did there.
Yeah.
Are there any updates coming for Central Pro? The current download is data from January of 23.
I don't think we have anything queued up for it right now.
And let's go back. So Central Pro is the software that we're giving away in the show today. And I was actually in the software, Central 2.0.
Yep.
Downloads. Oh, I got to go to the downloads. And software. Central 2.0 downloads. Yeah, January 5th, 2023. So you are correct. If anyone is interested in winning Central Pro 2.0, the free version gives you limited use. The full version gives you everything for an entire year, $299 value. You can go to bit.ly, BirdDog entry, or use your phone, scan the QR code. There'll be an entry form. Fill out your name, email, and answer a couple questions, and that will get you entered. Does the X4E Ultra have ONVIF capabilities for integration with security camera systems? Or do any other BirdDog cameras have this?
I believe the X4E does have integration with OnViv. I haven't played with it yet, personally, but it does have that capability.
Cool. All right, let's continue on here. AI tracking. Now, the AI tracking in these things is not just track one person.
No, it can discern, unique subjects. So I actually did it at NAB with the X4, where I latched it on myself and I walked down like one of the main corridors in front of our booth and had it track me as I was walking, had other people in front of the camera line, and you know, 98% of the time it didn't lose me. In the most complex tracking environment possible with hundreds of people going around, it stayed latched on me. And if somebody crossed the path in front of me, it stayed locked in that position until the line of sight opened up, and it latched onto me. And if I would move, it would follow along with me. Granted, if I disappeared, as somebody walked in front of me, that's tricky, but that's when you can also set a, return to position. If it does lose the target, where it can go back to a particular position, and then, we can regroup. So it's complex in that way, but also above and beyond just, single presenter tracking, we can do zone tracking. So if you have, stage and you have, multiple stations or that your speaker will be going between, let's call it zone A, and they'll at some point leave zone A to go over to zone B. If they do that, you can set it where, once you lose the target in zone A, the camera will then pan over naturally to zone B to find the subject there. And then you can do that so on and so forth for C and D as well. And you can save those scenes in the UI so you know what the scenes look like. So if you need to restage them, if the camera moves a little bit, you can restage those scenes ahead of time and order them how you choose.
And I think that's a key thing, though, that it's not just tracking; it's a little bit of smarts, and then also, so if a person just like walks off the stage or something like that, it doesn't just like stay over there and guess. It knows if not this anymore, then fall back to, and as a home point, and that really does simplify things. Like if you're not on top of every camera, or you're setting another camera on the audience for a preset, and you're not looking at this one, and he just happens to like walk off for a question or something like that, you're like, the camera is going to take care of you. And that's actually a really nice feature to have, is that backup there, just already programmed in.
It is. We've tried to think ahead a little bit, and it's one of those things like I talked about earlier. It's like each step up through the camera line, it gets a little bit smarter.
Yep.
The X4 is smarter from an AI perspective and the tracking than the X1s are, and then you go up from X4 to like the XL, and you have more features. You get more customization, and it's even smarter.
Couple questions come in. This one from Greece. How easy to make it track soccer, the ball? I mean, or is it too early for the technology of tracking?
It's tricky, and it's a completely different algorithm, and because it's so quick in motion, it's not something that we've looked a ton at to this point, but it's interesting because more and more people are asking about it for sport and being able to, follow the ball and the action. I think what'll probably come for us before that would be, audio based, where, okay, the audio is coming from this person, or, speaker two is now talking, so let me go over to speaker two. I think
Right.
we'll, get to that as a next generation first.
And I think everybody in this audience may have already seen the infamous clip of the AI tracking. I think it was probably a huddle cam where it just has one big shot and then an AI crops in on it. And it kept seeing this bald referee on the side of the field. And it was like, if the ball gets hit really fast, it's moving too fast for tracking to see. It just turns into a blur. So then it said, oh, here's a round circular bright thing, and it kept going down to the bald head of the guy on the side of the field.
It's a lot of data to take in.
It's a lot of data to take in, and it's also like, it's one of those things where it takes experience to know that that is not the ball, even though it matches the constraints of what you're trying to track.
Yeah.
So it's a real challenge. UTV says, any chance we can get a tracking demo? I'm getting good results with the X4U, but not that good.
I don't have one to demo right this moment, but getting some demo footage where we show it is something we're prioritizing, and we're actually starting to launch a training series. So CJ put out yesterday like the first edition that we have, and it goes over the Maki Studio and training. So, as we've, kind of gotten through a big push with having new products launched, is we're getting into a point where we're able to, spend the time in the nitty-gritty to start getting the content out there of like in training, and bringing everybody that uses it every day up to where we are when we made it. So we're
Actually,
building that content out now.
I would have loved to see the clip of you that you just talked about at the expo walking and have it track you.
Yeah.
So I think
I think when I do
expos
that
are,
next time, I should just like set up a
yeah,
screen record.
yeah. I think that's a great idea. Is just to, like contact Atomos. Yeah, we need 10 recorders, and you just
Yeah.
hook them up to every camera. So that when you have these things happen, it's like, look, here's me, walking down the aisle and other people walking in front and everything, and it's tracking you. It's sort of like that is a clip that people want to see and have it work. And then
Yeah.
also, I guess like to his point though, is like what were the specific parameters in the camera? Like, how was the set, what were the settings on that and everything, so that they can understand what they might be doing differently on their camera. So
Yeah.
Bowles Promos asks, the X4 normal, does it get hot? I want to put it outdoor on a tripod and a light plastic bag over for protection against light rain. No, I would say don't do that. Only because I have some experience with this. I'll let you answer first, and then I'll throw my thoughts in.
I am inclined to always say that other than the O4, all of our PTZs are designed as indoor cameras. Um, but we have plenty of folks that use them outdoor. Especially when sun comes into play, especially with the black units, they can get really hot because the black plastic does attract the heat. So if it's a really sunshiny day, it can definitely have a problem if you're getting north of 120 Fahrenheit. It can definitely start affecting the way the camera's processing. And I wouldn't be surprised if at that point your image quality or your frame rate starts to drop because just the processor can't cool down as quickly. And then
But as you said, the X4 has a fan in it, though, right?
it has a cooling function for designed when it's being charged um, to keep that, but it's not going to push. So if you just have it running over like PoE and you have it outside in a bag and it's just getting warm, it's not designed to start like pushing that excess heat.
And I will say, in terms of a light plastic bag, I had the same idea. A video event I was on, we took the Netgear router that had to be up high on a stand to get to the cell towers because we were in
Yeah.
a remote area, and the sun, I'm in Texas, so the Texas sun and everything. So I got a white plastic bag, super smart, except there's no airflow inside of the plastic bag. So the heat that the unit itself is generating, it just keeps gathering and gathering and gathering, and there's no air to carry it away. So that is
Yeah.
the key problem I find with the plastic bag is you need ventilation. So
Yeah.
and if
Energy
you
has to
have
go
a
somewhere.
yeah, that heat, and if it just keeps building up inside, it's just going to keep circulating, making itself hotter. And if there's any way to just cover it, like with a little umbrella, hey, these depending upon the hat size, I've seen these like little umbrella hats or whatever. Finding a way to keep the sun off of it, but let the air flow underneath of it is going to be key.
Yeah.
And against the light rain, as said, these are not outdoor rated cameras, but you might get away with a light rain. But if it does start to rain a little bit harder, you're going to be running around real quick
Yeah.
to
We do
gather your
have the
gear.
O4 now, which is IP66 rated and designed to be outdoor, and has a hydrophobic lens, and that's designed for those environments. So that is an option, yeah. And
That
it
is an
is
option.
tripod mountable.
Speaking of the O4, the laser on the O4, is that damaging to camera sensors if it's turned on and pointed at another camera?
I pointed it at another camera and it didn't explode it. But I also
No.
wasn't trying to I wasn't trying to break it like that. So
Well, I might know a little bit what he's talking about. There's this small YouTuber, Marcus Brownlee,
yeah.
and he did this video recently where he showed his iPhone because he does all of his videos on the autofocus channel. He shoots them on phones. And he showed this iPhone, and when he covered the sensor, there were like all of these little dots. And he found out it happened after a car review, and the car has a self-driving mode. And they went to the video, and they found you could actually see the laser scanning, and it was hitting the sensor
Hmm.
in the phone, and it actually burned out pixels
Yeah,
in the phone just that scanning. So that's an interesting question.
I'll test it.
Use an old phone. I would
I'll use
just in case.
I'll use an old camera.
Stephen Mann, thanks for joining us. Love to see some demos of the AI tracking. So this ladies' cameras have beautiful auto tracking. Love to see BirdDog's products beat. I can get my clients excited about BirdDog. Ooh,
Yeah,
it's competition.
I think we can do that. We did a live demo at NAB New York for a customer with the XL. So our sales engineer Cameron actually had got on a Teams call with somebody connected to our XL, and I was, walking down the aisle, and um, there was a gentleman who was at our booth, talking, and he kept like waving his arm in front of the camera lens as I was like walking, trying to get it to track me, and it didn't miss a beat. So it was a really successful demo for us, but it's another one of those things where I'm like, we should have recorded it.
And I think, those types of demos really do speak well to like, hey, let's give it a try. And it's not set up, it's not perfect conditions, it's
Yeah,
not like this is sort of like, hey, we're on the show floor and we've, didn't tweak the software ahead of time and this isn't our 15th attempt or whatever.
yeah.
Those things really speak well, and I think those would be really good to see. As our audience has increased, I just want to say welcome again to everyone. If you haven't chimed in already, feel free to let us know where you're watching from today. And while we're talking about the new batteryless version of the O4, the X4, feel free to throw in whatever BirdDog questions you have, about the BirdDog line. And as we were talking about before, we have this giveaway right here. Feel free to sign up right here at bit.ly BirdDog entry and use the QR code right here. And if you scan these, you can enter to win BirdDog Central Pro. We used to be giving away BirdDog Connect. Today we're giving away BirdDog Central Pro. There's a free version. This is the Pro version. It's a $300 value US. Central Pro 2.0. You get the full suite for the entire year. And I think that is a very worthwhile prize. And let me just double check the entries. And we're up to 11 entries. So feel free to throw your name in the hat if you haven't already. I'll just leave that up on the screen for a second. And while that is up, I don't suppose I can bring the slides up too. It would cover the slides. So we're going to continue with this. And one of the next things to talk about is the fact that you're getting 4K P60 on HX3. And, HX3 HX used to be, I don't know, looked down upon, what you had full NDI and then you had those HX. But HX3 is sort of like really opened up the capability while also dramatically lowering the data rate required.
Yeah, it's incredible what can happen when you put a standard on something and what it needs to perform at. So NDIs, with a HX3, given manufacturers basically a guideline that it has to meet a minimum level of performance. for them to be able to certify it to meet the market. So from a latency perspective, it's glass to glass, 100 milliseconds, I believe. And within that, it gives us the ability to overachieve that if we so desire, and we have desired to do that. So we have actually exceeded the NDHI HX3 minimum requirements. So in a lot of our internal like side-by-side testing, we see lower latency on our HX3 cameras than we did on our previous gen, high bandwidth cameras. So even though you're using a lower bit rate, and a more efficient compression, we're still seeing less latency and without a major reduction in your image quality.
Absolutely, and I can concur. When I had the X1, and I put it against the P200. P200's doing full bandwidth, and the X1 was doing HX3. It was actually faster. Like both cameras, both on wires, to the studio, to vMix, and I had them side by side. And the HX3 was, it used to be it was slower. It used to be that was the slow dog, and now it's actually getting to my vMix just a hair faster than the full bandwidth. And that is something to be really, amazed at, is the fact that it's like, now I don't have to deal with full bandwidth and like worry about choking my network. I can have this low bandwidth and faster.
Yeah, it's really incredible because with, HX3, your bit rate's gonna max out at 4K 60 at, I believe, 120 or 121, megabytes per second. Where with, a high bandwidth NDI stream, that's going to be over 255, I believe.
Yeah, upwards of 300 or more, yeah.
So you're more than cutting it in half.
And I think it really does speak well to people who are installing these systems into existing systems, so that if you were thinking, oh, 4K would be great, but if we're doing 300 megabits from each camera, how many 4K cameras can we get on a single gigabit network?
So this is an interesting thing that I don't think a lot of people think about is, one of the value adds like with the X4 compared to our X1 series. Our X1 series just have a 100 megabyte NIC versus the X4 having a 1 gig NIC on it. So if you're pulling, numerous streams out of that camera, if you're pulling,
if you're not using multicasting.
Yeah, so if you're not using multicast and you're pulling like 5 streams, like 1080 streams out of an X1, you're going to be, over what that NIC can handle, where you're going to have, headroom on that with an X4. So one of the things in looking at building out your scope and like, okay, what camera fits is like, what streams am I pulling? Like, how many times am I taking this? What place is it going to end up in?
Exactly. And, there's, if you go to, NDI, used to be NDI TV, I think it's now NDI.video. They now have certifications. So if you're looking at installs, I would highly recommend they have the ability to go through, sit down, and learn the details behind it, so that when you're dealing with multicasting and discovery networks and things like that, you can really understand the depth that you're working with.
And their white paper is really good too. Like if you're like, okay, well, what do I need to do to hit NDI HX3? And like they'll literally give you tables. So like if you're using H.265 or H.264 and X resolution, this is the bit rate that you need to set it to. They don't tell you what GOP you need to set it to, because if you're running NDI HX3, they tell you the GOP should always be 20.
Right. And that is a good point too, is that HX3 gives you H.265, which is more efficient than H.264. So again, if you're doing multiple that one camera is sending at multiple destinations without multicast, you're again lowering the bandwidth coming out of that camera through its own NIC and through the network.
Yeah. And it's important to check too, because well, folks that because out of the box, I believe it's set to 265. Um, but not all computers are will have, the H.265 like codec already. So sometimes you'll pull it up in the studio monitor, and it'll give you this fancy screen that tells you you can't see, the stream. You're like, what's going on? Why is my camera broken? It's not. The computer just doesn't have the ability to read the H.265 yet.
Right, right. Continuing on, if you have any questions with regards to BirdDog TV, the camera comparison tables training series has actually started being rolled out already. HX versus full NDI, user stories, firmware updates, knowledgeable, and 3D models if you plan on cutting your own cases to go into Pelican. Those are all available at birddog.tv. So feel free to just poke around there and get the information that you need from birddog.tv. All right. I don't see any more questions coming in about the cameras. So I really appreciate you being here to help walk people through the questions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to kind of chat about all the different things, because sometimes I just get everything stuck in my head, and it's good to just chat it out.
Well, I do want to say hello to Mr. John Knutson of the great state of
Yeah,
Tennessee. He's a man who knows a little bit about bird dog stuff,
just a bit.
just a bit. And Stephen says the greater state of New Jersey.
Yes.
Question came in. What's the process on the H263, HX3, since we were talking about that, on the Mach-E Live? With 254? I didn't know that was a thing.
Um,
I think he
I'm not
might
sure.
mean
Like,
H256.
um, I thought we had it. I wasn't aware that there was a gap with that.
And then we also had a question with regards to the quad,
Mm.
the
Oh, is
H260.
this asking about
This one is not. This one is
Silicon
not.
2 with the quad
The
and
yeah,
NDIHX?
the HX on the quad. Here it is.
It's coming soon, and I know that's the worst answer, but it's the truth. So we've gotten to a point internally where we can do it, and it's working. So we're just running through QA on it in the back end. So like, we don't want to release it until it's rock solid. I believe we are getting through the encode portion of it, and I think CJ was saying that we're getting close to being able to have a beta available. So
Okay.
hopefully soon. But it's wrapping up. So I think the biggest hill is climbed.
Yes, and now it's just like making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. To clarify the other question, what's the progress on the H260 254? He actually meant
H.265.
he meant H265 because he's saying it's only 1080 in HX3
Oh,
now if you set it to H265.
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'll have to look into that.
And this is
Now,
the answer you get when you're not dealing with AI. We don't just make shit up.
yeah, I don't want to make up an answer. I would say reach out to our support team at help at birddog.tv and get a ticket in. That way we can, get that conversation fluid, and I can have a spot to loop back with you on it.
All right. Controlled Chaos. Thanks for keeping on working on the quad. It's a great piece of tech and has come a long way since launch.
It has come a
And
long way, and it's got a little bit further to go.
a little bit further, and then I think people are going to be suitably impressed the fact that it's doing more than it was ever advertised to do.
Yeah, and I think what gets lost a little bit too is because we've done so many updates on it recently, is that it does do simultaneous encode and decode now, where you can have two channels encode and two channels decode on the quad. So it's really come an impressive distance in the last 18 months.
That is true. That is true. All right. I believe I've taken enough of your time, Christian. I do want to thank you for joining me on today's show, handling those last few questions that came in.
Absolutely.
And I want to once again invite everyone here who hasn't already entered to win. This is going to be your last opportunity to go to bit.ly/BD entry, capital B, capital D, BirdDog entry, and your chance to scan the code as well. Use your phone, scan the QR code. There's some questions with your name, your email address, and then, hey, tell us what products you may have and like. Tell us what you want to see. And if selected, we're going to draw it in just another couple minutes. You can win BirdDog Central PRO, full year, $300 US value, 2.0, just by entering this form. Where can we buy shares again in BirdDog? I actually don't know. So this is your opportunity. I'm going to let it run for just another couple minutes because I know the live audience is about 20 seconds behind me. So I'm just going to let that sit on the screen for a little bit. But as always, I do thank everyone for chiming in for the show today, joining us, letting us know where you're watching from all the way around the world, and from Greece to the US to the UK, Australia, and I want to make sure, look at another entry came in, and I want to make sure that we get everybody have a chance to win BirdDog Central, because this is the first show that we've actually offered BirdDog Central. We've been offering BirdDog Connect for several weeks. This week it's BirdDog Central Pro 2.0. And as part of the show, I'm actually going to do this on the show right now. It's going to come down here. So this is the list of names who have entered, and I'm going to copy these names. If you enter late, I apologize, but that time is up. I'm going to copy this. We're going to go over here to the wheel of names where we have the BirdDog contest wheel. I'm going to delete those and I'm going to paste in the names that I just copied. And then I'm going to click the center of the wheel. And I'm not stopping it. It is going to stop on Wayne Netter. Congratulations. You are today's winner of BirdDog Central 2.0. And I thank everyone who took the time to join us on today's show, ask questions, keep asking questions, and enter to win the contest. So congratulations to the winner. And as always, I appreciate everyone who has joined us on the show, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Thanks for watching.